Okay, I'm building this new deck. It has a simple idea. One, having lots and lots of creatures. Always have creatures. Two, pump those creatures up like crazy. So how do you get lots of creatures? Well, you focus on like a card. Oh, this is an interesting card actually. Let's look at the base cards. This is one card. I mean, it's expensive. It's not gonna give you. It's just gonna give you one card. If you put this card into play, Afterlife 2, it's not as strong as that other card. It's only 2/1, but it has Afterlife 2, and it means when this creature dies, create 2/1/1 white and black spirit creature tokens with flying. So this is definitely something that I want in my deck, because it's gonna give me basically 3 creatures for 3 mana. And although like they're not as strong as, let's say, Knight of the Keep is, which is a 3/2, you know, to start with. Oh, wait a minute, there's gone somewhere. But still, a 2/1 is not bad, and because I know the rest of my deck is gonna be around pumping it up, it will probably get like a +1/+1, maybe another +1/+1. So it might be like a 3/2, a 4/3, something. It will be bigger, and then when it dies, the spirits, they come in as flying. They also be like 2/2s or 3/3s. So this is the kind of card that this is what I want. This is like 3 creatures for 1 card. Now this gives a bonus to creatures. What I also want, I want bonuses to creature. Each creature you control has an adventure in the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter. This is actually good if I would know that I have like a large portion of my creatures would have adventures, but at the moment they don't. So I don't see where this is not affecting enough creatures. We want something that affects all creatures. So this one also is a great one. Now this is a budget deck. I should have started with that. I'm building it up on a budget, which means, like, although I have like 55 cards I could craft, I'm not gonna do that until I'm 100% sure I will do that like last. This is a budget deck. So this is for like someone who maybe just started MTG Arena. He or she gets like a bunch of cards and tries to make a good deck with it. I'm trying to teach you how to build a deck with just the cards you have, and that it means that you go through the cards you have available in your in your card pool, in your library, and just look at every card and see, well, what could go in my deck. And then, like, I already have 186 cards, so I'm gonna shift. These are cards that are possibly good to working well in this type of deck, and then I will filter through, like I will get rid of the worst ones until I get left with the better ones. So we'll look at this one, Rally for the Throne. Create 2 1/1 white creatures tokens. So exactly, this is doing the same thing as the Ministrant. Instead of just like giving me the 2 extra creatures after she dies. Yeah, it's a she, right? Yeah. It will give me straight away 3 creatures. So, and also it gives me some life gain. Also a thing in this deck that I like. So, because first is about getting as much creatures on the table as you can and having as much creatures at all time as you can, and then secondly, using that by making them stronger, or having other things like getting life, of course, using them to attack and get your opponent down. Yeah, this is just 1 creature. Now this is again, create 2 1/1 white soul creature tokens with lifelink. So it's only 2 creatures, but they both have lifelink, which I said, like, it's nice to have some life gain. Will give me some extra time against aggressive decks to build up my forces. Look at this one. Whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life. Again, well, this is only 1 creature, but it is a rare. And like when you're on a budget, you have to work. You cannot just get like, if maybe there's a better rare and a better card, but I just don't have 4 of them. So I have to look at this one card and think, well, is it valuable in my deck? Now it says whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life. Now if I'm gonna have like 10 creatures that attack, that's 10 life, you know. So maybe I will have 10, maybe have it 4 or 5 or 6, but again, if they all attack, and she will be attacked, so that's like 1 life, and then a few more. So this could be like between 5 and 10 life each turn that we gain just by attacking, not even doing damage. You don't need to have lifelink anything. And will be on top of the lifelink that they get. So if I could have given lifelink to all creatures, but if they already have lifelink through some other ability, or some card just says, another card I use said everything has lifelink, then this one will be on top of that, another 4 or 5 life or 10 life. So just putting one of this in my deck could be useful. Okay, let's start from like the start, because I want to look at some cheaper things. This is only one creature, but it says on board, it says destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. So now it's a rare again. Like I can buy rares, but I have 29 rares available to me. But I'm not sure. Yeah, this was just going to be a budget deck, and I do have a lot of cards that fit in this way I want to play. And although this is a great card to have, I don't know if like having 4 of them will make this deck so much better, because I already have a lot of good cards that do the same thing. And again, it's only one creature for one card, but it has like removal on it. Removal for really big creatures, which is really good because most of my creatures are kind of tiny. So this is a really important card. It would be good to have 4 of them, but I don't yet. Let's look at this one, Flying Lifelink. Actually, this one is a bit too weak, because there are lots of cards that give me like 2 creatures with lifelink or flying. So I probably should be getting rid of this. Let's look where it is. Again, let's just. Oh yeah, I can do that here. No, how do I get rid of them? No, this crafting. I have to click on them, right? I'm so stupid, like my brain. I have so many things on my mind. Healer's Hawk. I mean, it's a great card. Flying Lifelink normally would be great. When I started building this white deck, it seemed like a good card. But now that I know what kind of deck I want, it's not giving me enough. It's not giving me extra creatures. So that's basically why I remove it. So again, look at this one, Charmed Stray. When Charmed Stray enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control named Charmed Stray. It only does it to other Charmed Strays. It is lifelink, but it doesn't give me extra creatures. It doesn't make use of like having lots of creatures, only other Charmed Strays. So I think it's too limited. Each player can cast more than one creature spell each turn. This is interesting because my deck will be basically based on lots and lots of creatures, and I know I'm not an instant sorcery player, although I love like playing like enchantments like this. They're good because they're permanent. I love playing with permanents. I don't like cards that you use only once. So I think that this could be in my favor, but again, is it really helping me? Each player can cast more than one non-creature spell. So if my opponent has a deck that's based on playing lots of enchantment, instants and sorceries, this could really hurt them. So I think, although it's not really the theme of my deck, it's powerful enough maybe to try that. I mean, it's only one white to play, and it is pretty powerful, and it really works well with my deck or my playstyle. So let's look. Although I will have some sorceries and instants that say, oh, you get 3 creatures, you know. So maybe I will have to get rid of it eventually if it just doesn't work well for me. This again, it's just 1 creature for 1, but it has like something on board. The sorcery, target creature gets +2/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. So like I said, like I want to pump other creatures. This does it. It only does it to 1, which is kind of not really what I want. I want to have multiple ones, but I mean, +2/+1 and flying for 2 mana, it's not bad. Could be a useful card, like it's sorcerer speed, so it's not really like a combat trick, but I mean, if I want to get, it's good to get the damage in. Let's say I have like a 10-10 creature lying around and my opponent has blockers but he has no flyers. I could cast this on the 10-10. The 10-10 becomes 12-11. It flies over my opponent and does 12 damage. So it could be a very good card. Giant Killer, Destroy. Again, this one we already talked about. This has like removal on board. Wish I had like 4 of those. This again, like it gives extra creatures when it dies. So it's like two creatures for 1 card. I mean you have the one price is the mana you have to pay. The other price is the card. You know, it's not just mana that you pay. You actually pay mana plus the card you play. So the more value you get for the card you have, the better. And although these are just 1/1s, I will be pumping those 1/1s up like crazy. So like a 1/1 will become maybe a 4/4 or 3/3, you know, at least a 2/2 at some point. So don't look at this as silly little 1/1s, but actually like serious creatures. So this is a perfect card for this deck. It's 7/7. This is like a combat trick. I think it will. The thing is, this is good. It's really important to have combat tricks or like this is like a removal for like if somebody texts me with like a 10/10 and I have a 3/3, I put this on it and then I can get that 10/10 out of the way. Maybe I can, if my card is a bit bigger, like a 3/4, I will survive, and I will just get rid of my opponent's card for like 1 white, really big creatures. I mean, it's a very good, but it's only for like blocking, only for protection. I mean, it is really powerful. But I think there are cards, like I said, like Destroy, creature with power 4. This will give me a creature and removal. This will give me only that removal. So I think I'm gonna not play it right now. I'm gonna turn it off. I can always like put it in again if I feel I need it. But now this one has green. So although I started as a white deck, I decided to put some green in there because they just have so many things with like small creatures. So if you look at the 6 mana one, it says creatures you control get +2/+2 at the end of turn. And then at the 1 it says search your library for a basic forest or plains card, reveal it, put it into your hand and shuffle your library. So let's say I have this in my opening hand and I have like 2 mana, 2 lands, 2 plains, or 2 like whatever, and yeah, 2 plains. And I start playing and I realized that I'm not drawing my lands. I could use this card and turn it into a land for only 1 white or green, which probably how I will use it mostly. I will probably use this mostly just to get extra land. So it's basically just a land card in my deck that I have to pay for to get the land. So it's like putting an extra land in. That's probably its main purpose. But on the side note, like near the end game, when I have 6+ mana to spend, suddenly I don't need all that money anymore. Now instead of it just being a land, it becomes a sorcery that gives +2/+2 to all my creatures, with exactly what I want to do in this game. So yeah, I think if you look at it as like a land that can become a +2/+2, then for all creatures, then this is the perfect card for my deck. Okay, Ayani's Pridemate. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Ayani Pridemate. Okay, this is a great card, except because I'm probably gonna gain a lot of life, and from multiple sources, so this card could be really big. The only thing is only 1 card. That's the only thing, it's only 1 card. So should I keep it in? That's a good one. That's a really good one. I don't know yet, to be honest. Maybe I put it to 1 so I can like don't forget about this card. I don't know, I just want to, let's test it out with 1. But I think it's a great card in this deck, but it's not really, actually it's like what I said, like making use of all the creatures. So once I have all the creatures, when I have like extra lifelink and stuff going on, this card becomes really great. But on the other hand, yeah, it's actually a really good card. Maybe I should just put it in anyway, just for the fact that it's a good card. I mean, I wish I had like 2 creatures that gives me an extra free creature, but I don't know. Let's try it, and if I need it's not good enough, we can always fix it. A Dawn of Hope. So whenever you gain life, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. So this is an enchantment, which I like permanence. So I will do a lot of life gain, like I said, because that's kind of like a bit of like a sub. Like the 2 main ones is like 1 is lots of creatures, 2 is make use of the lots of creatures, and the side effect of having lots of creatures is probably lots of life gain, and because it's a wide deck, so I could like get multiple cards, draw lots of cards. Now, cards equal more creatures, and doing more and more effects on those creatures. So this could be indirectly, it uses the fact that I have lots of creatures and then gives me more creatures. So and then it even has the ability for 4 create a 1/1 white creature token with lifelink, which is expensive, but it's an onboard thing that I need. You know, I need those creatures. Let's say I have 3 creatures for some reason. It would be great to have like another creature, like a 4th creature, even for 4 mana, because maybe I have a spell that says all your creatures get +2/+2. So now having 4 creatures that have like that 1/1 white shoulder token will be a 3/3 on the next turn, another 3/3 to attack with. So this could be crucial. Although it will take a bit more work than, let's say, just putting like 3 creatures in the field. Daybreak Chaplain. Actually, I put this in when I was like thinking about just making a lifelink deck, but this is definitely not a good card for. This is only 1 creature, and has no ability like the Dawn of Hope will give me lots of cards, lots of creatures. That will only always ever be 1 creature. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get gain 1 life. Now, this is again, it's a bit like Yanni's Pridemate, making use of a deck that has lots of creatures in it, and it's a creature itself, which also not something to. So it has the both of the thing. I think that's why I put Yanni Pridemate in, because it not only is a creature, it makes use of the creatures, of having a lot of creatures. And then this one, this one also, it says it is a creature, so it is another creature I put into play, but it also makes use of being a creature. So I could use an instant of sorcery that says, gain life for all the creatures you have, but I could also put just this creature in and also gain life from putting more creatures in. So this is probably, it's doing both things. Pacifism. I put this in as when I was building a lifelink deck. It's a great like way to like get rid of like those 10/10s, but it's not it's not doing anything of putting not putting any creatures in the play, and it's not really making use of having lots of creatures. So for that thing, I don't think it's gonna really like bog down the way the deck wants to work. Because as soon as you have cards in hand that either are not creatures and not helping creatures, or not making use of having lots of creatures, why are you playing a deck with lots of creatures if that card is not going to make use of that? Pacifism is not going to make use of the fact that I have lots of creatures. Also, it's not putting any creatures in the field, so it's hurting the other cards that do want to make use of having lots of creatures. I hope you're learning a lot here. That's the way you have to think about if you build a deck. Like it may look like the best card ever, but is it like like by having all these cards work together, everything you do works towards one goal. Every card you play, it either puts more creatures into play, or like abusing the fact that you have so many creatures, and that is the power. That creates a lot of power, and like a lot of focused power, instead of just like being unfocused. Well, it can be great. It can be a great card, getting rid of that 10/10. But you could have done that maybe even better. You could have gotten maybe rid of all the 10/10s that he has, because you were focused on like making huge creatures that were like 20/20 or something. Now, of course, I'm exaggerating with 10-10. It will probably be more like 3-3 and 5-5, but you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, this is an instance. Again, this is just this is not a permanent effect, and it's also not a permanent creature probably. But let's look. 3 damage to target tapped creature. It costs the spell during the main phase. It deals. No, again, this is like removal. It's not making use of the fact that I have. I know you need removal in this game normally, but I think I'll be better off having like, if I have like 6 5/5s and attack with them and they have all vigilance and trample, then I don't care about removing one of my opponent's creatures anymore. And I have like 100 life because I'm like getting life all the time. I'm not worried of dying really quick either. Now this is a blue card. I put it in again because why not? I mean, you can play the dispose for just like white, and so tap target creature, draw a card. So let's say I want to attack. I have those creatures, but I know I'm gonna lose a lot of creatures if I attack. But there's this one creature that is really annoying, and I can just tap it and attack, maybe lose one less creature or not even one creature, and then because maybe he has an indestructible creature, maybe a dead touch creature, something, you know what I mean. Just tap the creature, draw a card, and then later on the game you just have a little combat trick there, or you know, a pre-combat trick. Or even a combat trick. Let's say you attack with like 5 creatures and your opponent has 3 blockers and they block creatures, and you see that one of your creatures is gonna die. I don't know, it doesn't really matter after. If you tap the creature, is it still blocking? I wonder. You cannot block with a tapped creature, but if you tap with if you block with an untapped creature and then tap it before damage, is it still gonna do damage to your creature? Yeah, probably is. So you maybe have to do it before blocking. I don't know. I should check this out. But it's expensive, like 4 mana. Create 2 1/1 color stop their artifact creature tokens with flying. Then you gain 1 life for each creature you control. Okay, this is why this card is so great, because I'm gonna have like 5, 6, 7, maybe 11 creatures. I'm just gonna gain a ton of life, and I have 2 more color stoppers for like 4 mana. I need to get a 1 blue somewhere, but I have like some cards that like can be tapped for any color. So I probably will be able to get like 1 blue somewhere at some point. You know, I don't need to do this early game. This can be like mid game. But yeah, again, this is like gain life for each creature you control is nice, and if I cannot use this card, I can just tap creature and draw a card. It will only cost me 2 mana to turn it to another card. Again, this is like the afterlife. This is the one we already discarded, discussed. So this is like 3 creatures, or it's 2 creatures for the price of 1. For 1 card, you know. This is again like the other card I showed you, like the dispose. I mean, like normally I don't want to play like instants and sorceries because they're not like permanents, but the tokens are permanent. So this puts 2 1/1 permanent creatures into play, which I want. And Assemble can do the same for 6 mana. It can create 3 +2 3 2/2 green creatures. White elf knight creature with vigilance. You know, I don't know, yeah, vigilance is great. Knights are things with knights, you know. So anyway, it's expensive for 6, but like late game, this is exactly the card value I want. Like if I draw my only 1 card, I have an empty hand, I draw 1 card, I have like 8 mana laying around. This is the card I want, because I may have like cards in play that like boost every creature, putting like another 3 creatures there. You know, they might, that's just huge. And then the Assure is even also great. Like I can play it for 2 white, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, which is permanent. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. So again, I'm pumping one of those creatures, and all my creatures gain indestructible. So this is like a combat trick. I can just boom attack. My opponents will block, multiple creatures of me will die, multiple creatures on my opponent's side will die. I give them indestructible, all my creatures survive, and the creatures that he has will still die. So I'm like diminishing their forces while keeping my forces alive, and I get like +1/+1 counter on one of my best creatures. Oh no, it's that creature. Oh, it's not all my creatures. I think there's a spell that says all creatures too. No, this is just that creature, so I can make that one creature that I want to keep alive. And so let's say I attack with like 4, he blocks with 2 or 3, one of my creatures dies or 2 of my creatures die, I can save one of them, you know. So it's a pretty decent card, either like early game or late game. A Conclave Guildmage, and again, like I said, like I don't want to play instants because they don't give me permanence, right? But when I play Assure, it saves me a creature that of my choosing, like one of my best creatures, the creatures that I really don't, because I don't need to play it. I only play this card when I think, well, I don't want to get rid of that creature, so I can have this high priority creature, yeah, and like supercharge it and keep that one safe for the next coming turns and keep it into play, so it will keep, you know, maybe this creature says like give +2/+2 to all other creatures. I don't want to get rid of that creature, that's an amazing creature, you know. So this could be a good card. What's this? It looks like another creature thing. Oh, this is good. So it is a creature again. I want creatures, so instead of putting like an enchantment into play that gives me creatures, or it's already a creature on its own. Creatures you control gain trample. Now again, if I do a big attack and all my creatures are 10/10 for some reason, or 5/5, let's be realistic. Let's say my creatures are all 5/5. That's something that can really happen in this deck. That's not the crazy thing. Let's say they're all 5/5 or 3/4/4. And my opponent has a lot of creatures, he can block them, and some of my creatures die, some of their creatures die. It's kind of like, maybe I do one of my creatures he cannot block one or 2 of my creatures. He gets maybe 5 damage, 10 damage. But what if I gave them all trample? You know? Now all of a sudden the same things happen, only all the trample damage gets through. So if he blocks like a 6/7 creature with a 4/2 creature, you know, now all of a sudden 4 damage, another 4 damage, and all these creatures that were like being chump blocked by his creatures, now all they do extra damage. Then for 6 mana, which is quite expensive, create a 2/2 green and white elf knight creature token Vigilancy. Now that's expensive for 2/2, but again, in this deck where a 2/2 can become like a 6/7, you know, whatever, it can be anything. A 2/2 is not a weak creature. It's another creature. This might be actually and exactly the thing that I want, you know. Emerald solved as scorned. Again, it gives me extra creatures. I think whenever becomes step, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Again, great. Every time I attack with this card, getting more creatures. Amazing card. I wish I had like 4 of those. Acclaimed Contender. When a claimed contender enters the battlefield, if you control another knight, look at top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a knight, aura, equipment, or legendary artifact card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. So it is a creature. It is not a, yeah, so it's a creature, and it gives me a card. It gives me like a knight, aura, equipment, or legendary artifact creature. Now actually I might not even play this card, because unless I have like a lot of knights in my deck, it's probably like the aura, equipment, and legendary artifacts, it's probably not gonna be in there, because I haven't seen anything like, maybe, yeah. Yeah, except for the knights. I don't know if this is going to be a good card. Do I have lots of knights? Soldier. soldier. If it would have been soldier, that would be interesting, but it's not exactly like I have lots of knights here. No, I don't think like I don't see any knights exactly at the moment. There might be knights later on. So although it's a rare, so it would have been good if it would have been like soldier or something, but even though most soldiers are like tokens, so it would have been had to be like human maybe. It would have sent like revealer human equipment that. So I'm gonna get rid of then. It's too circumstantial, and I don't even have the circumstance on board. So look at like Angel Vitality. If you would gain life, you gain that much life +1, and you get plus as long as you have 25 or more life. Okay, so actually, like I have all these, like let's say I have all my creatures have lifelink, or like a lot of them. So every time one of them gets life, they get 1 extra life. Angel Vitality gets +2/+2 as long as you have 25 or more life. So definitely I'm gonna have more life. So it's gonna be 4/4, 4/3 that is giving me extra life somehow. It could even get maybe this card will even have lifelink itself at some point. So it is interesting. And I mean the lifelink thing is still like a sub genre in this. It's like a sub section of this deck, and it is a creature. It's not like I'm putting an enchantment in to gain life. It is a creature. I need more creatures, so I don't know. It could be it's good for now. Like if I want to, like I got 149 cards. If I want to get down to less cards, maybe excuse me, maybe this might not be great, but tap 2 target creatures. Flying. Again, this could be very important when you're attacking. Getting like when you tap those creatures before you attack, before blockers, it makes it so much easier to attack. And it is a creature, so having that, you know, like it's a tactician, like having that tactical value and having another creature. I think I could like play it. I only have 1 though, but I could try it out. I think I might be very useful. I had a card once that said like, well, if you attack with 3 creatures, target creature cannot block, and that was really important in my mono red standard deck. Did a lot of good work. So I think that just getting rid of the 2 worst creatures is like huge actually. It's pity it can only do it once and cost mana. Bring to trial, exile target creature with power 4 or greater. Yeah, great, but it doesn't do anything in the deck where it makes use of having lots of creatures, of giving more creatures. So again, although it is a great removal card, destroy all creatures with toughness 4 or greater. Now that could actually hurt myself because I really have lots of big creatures. And again, it's actually working against the fact that I have a lot of big creatures. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life. Again, like if I have like attacking with 5 creatures, I think we already had that. Luminous Bonds. Again, it's just getting rid of a creature. It's control. I will play control if it's like on a creature card or with a creature card as a part of the creature, or like with Assure, you know, it will control a creature and save a creature. In a way, control can help you save your creatures, so it is important to maintain your creatures and not just lose them. But it's good to combine it with like getting more creatures, or like the card being a creature. Like the Miscreant, like if it dies, it gives me like 2 more flying creatures, so it's actually good for like blocking something. You know, it's good like so I can, instead of like I could have placed like, I can play a card like Destroy Creature. But what I also can do is just like when I can keep Miscreant of Obligation like untapped as a blocker, then and then use it to like exchange with anything that attacks me. Now again, my opponent might not attack because he can see the miscreant, but so it works anyway. So like if he doesn't block because he don't want to exchange, because maybe the miscreant is like 4/4, you know, 4/3 or something, he doesn't want to block, he doesn't want to exchange with the miscreant, so he's not blocking. So I'm not getting damage from all the ground creatures. Maybe some flyer will fly over, but I'm not getting damaged. If he does attack with a bunch of creatures, I can like get rid of them. Like it can use it as a removal spell. In that way it removes one of his creatures, but it gives me still, and then I get 2 other creatures. So actually I want it to die. I want to use it as a removal spell to exchange with his creature, one of his creatures, you know. So because I even get more creatures, so I can use them again as blockers or attackers, and it will be flying, so I can fly over him and attack him with it. So this is a great card in this deck, but it's better than, let's say, like the other cards I just removed, all the removals, because they're not, yeah, this will actually help me will get me more creatures because it's on board where it gets 2 creatures, and I can still remove a card with it, or like block a card with it, or like protect and prevent attacks. Rally for the Throne. Again, create 2/1 white creature tokens. That's what I want, and I even can gain life. Create 2/1 again. Great. Okay, this is all my creature. This is what I talked about earlier. Like creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. If you cast a spell during your main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures, and they gain vigilancy. So the counter is permanent. It doesn't say. Oh, does it say? Yes. And they gain vigilancy until end of turn. So I think the counter is permanent. I don't know if it's permanent or like. No, a +1/+1 putting a counter on something is permanent, I think, because it would say like they will receive +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's a permanent counter on all my +1/+1 on all my creatures, and this is like, I wish I had like more. This is like this is a card I might like get more of because it's just so good. This is one of the cards this whole deck is based on this kind of cards. I wish I had more. But again, I don't have more, so that's why I have to like, this is a budget deck, I have to work around and get all the other cards that are kind of doing the same thing to work together. Now this is a card that kind of does the same thing. I have to like put red in, so it might be harder to cast, but Haste Mentor. Now the Mentor thing is like he's 3/2, so if they all get +1/+1, he will become like 4/3 or 5/4. You know, he will always be able to mentor 1 or 2 of those creatures that are just coming in, that are a bit weak. So so when he attacks, some other creature gets a +1/+1. It's only like 1/+1 each turn. It's not crazy. It's not the reason why I got the card. But again, it's a creature. It's one more creature in my deck. It can boost 1 other creature every turn. The main thing is 1 red, 1 white. Tragic Legion edge gains first. Oh no, that's first. Again, first strike. That's nice. The other thing: prevent all non-combat damage that will be dealt to other creatures you control. So this creature actually protects all my creatures. So if there is some effect that say, well, do 3 damage to all creatures, okay, I might lose Tajik, but I won't lose any other creature. So like against a red deck, this could be good, especially if I can make Tajik a little bit better and protect. I can just focus on protecting Tajik, and by protecting Tajik I can protect others. So I think this protects all the creatures, so it makes use of the having lots of creature components of this deck. Face Burrow Elder. Again, it's a creature which I want more creatures. It gets +1/+1 for each color. Nice. So it's probably 1/1 or 2/2. Actually, I got like red. Like if I have like a red card or a black card in play, or a blue card, it will become bigger. Actually, this might be a really good card for this deck, because I do have like lots of like off colors in it. For each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. So I could have 1 mana, 2, 3, 4. You know, I could have loads of mana from this card, and it gives me it's a creature. So this could be like a 5/5 or 10/10 creature, you know, and then I could attack with it, or I could like use it for mana. Yeah, the thing is, this is a instant, so I don't know if this is really what I want. But it is a permanent +1/+1 counter. The +1/+1s are permanent, so it's creating a permanent effect. Plus I gain life, which also is a permanent effect, because the life I you know, it's permanent. So if I have like let's say I have like 7 creatures into play, I get 7 lives, and I get 7 +1/+1 counters on them. So for 3 mana, putting 7 +1/+1 counter on something and gaining 7 life is actually really good. I was ready to remove this because it's instant, but no, I think it really uses the fact that I have multiple creatures. This wouldn't be a great card if I didn't have, like, my whole deck would be based on. It's a bit like the Unbreakable Formation, where I get like the +1/+1 counter. Only the Unbreakable Formation, it is like permanent +1/+1 Vigilancy and like indestructible, and this is +1/+1 and a permanent life gain, you know. So yeah, it's Heraldic Banner for 3. It says I can choose a color. All the creatures chosen color, which will always be white, get +1/+0. Now all my creatures are white basically. They're either white or they're white with something else. So they all have +1/+0 permanently. So this kind of like the Pledge of Unity. Only the Pledge of Unity only works with creatures that are in play at that moment. Heraldic Banner will work with any creature that will like come into play after this card, or that's in the game at any point when this card is also in the game. So in that case, but it doesn't give me the extra toughness. Add 1 mana of the chosen color, so it's also going to be tapped for mana. So I think this actually, maybe I should put like 4 of this in this deck. It's really good. Icon of Ancestry. I mean, what is it? Oh, this is like, I'm opening packs, so I might of this the Throne of Eldraine. So, and that's where this is from. So I will probably get more of those at some point. Icon of Ancestry. But yeah, I mean, there are lots of cards like the Pledge of Unity doing the same thing. So, but yeah, like also again, Heraldic Banner. Like, let's say I have turn 3, right? I've played like 3 lands. I play my 3rd land, and then next turn I can play another land, right? You can only play 1 land. So this turn I only have 3 mana available. Next turn I will have like 4 mana available. That's kind of all the players ever. If I play this for 3, next turn I won't have like 4 mana available. I have like 4 mana plus 1 mana of the chosen color. So I have like 4 mana. And if I do this multiple times, I'm ramping my mana. So I can maybe play, and normally I have to wait until turn 7 to play turn 7 like a 7 mana card. With this I can play, like if I play 2 of those, I can do it earlier. You know, I can do it in turn 6 or something. Like, I can do it a lot earlier. Probably even turn 5, I think. Wait a minute. So turn 4 I have this in play. Then I play another one. And on turn 5 I have 2 of them. So I have 5 mana plus 2, this is 7. So on turn 5 I can play a card I could normally only have played in turn 7. These kind of cards are really important in like speeding up your game, because you have all these cards to play. You need the mana to do that, and also you have to wait every turn until you get those lands into play before you can play the higher cards. So imagine like just playing a 7 mana card, like a 7/7 dragon in turn 5, you know, and then attacking with it in turn 6, or even maybe it has haste, attacking it turn 5, and the opponent's like, whoa, I got a 7/7 dragon attacking me in turn 5. Okay, Icon. Okay, choose a creature type. Again, that's going to be hard because I have lots of different creatures. Creature control gets chosen to get +1/+1. So I have to look what I have in play at that moment, and then decide what is the best one to choose. And what's in my hand, what I'm gonna play. Like let's say if I know that I'm gonna do like soldiers, I can do choose soldiers. But yeah, again, this is white elf knights. You know, I cannot choose white, so I have to choose like either elf or knight. So yeah, what's gonna be soldier, elf, knight? So it depends kind of on what's kind of like a human cleric, human creature tokens. I think that human would be like probably white soldier. The soldier doesn't say human, that's annoying. So it's like, and then look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card of the chosen type from among them and put into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of the library. So I can look at 3 cards, and then if one of them is, let's say, human, I can use it. I don't have a real like human deck or soldier deck, or I don't have a deck where I have like lots of one type. Actually, I think this is not a good card for me, because like the heraldic banner does the same thing almost, although I don't give the toughness, and it doesn't, heraldic banner doesn't give me like extra cards, but it seems so random. I don't have any ability to look on the top of my deck right now, so I mean I can just say human or something, but unless I'm really sure that I have, I mean, a soldier, knight, and like some things are human knight, that's good, but other things they're like elephant soldier. So what am I gonna do? Say soldier. 3 for, I mean, it's so many different stuff that I have here. I don't know. I think I'm better off getting rid of that card. I mean, it's a rare. It seems like a good card, but again, and only top 3 cards. It's a very limited range, you know, 3 cards. So one in my 3 cards in my deck has to be like human or soldier. I don't know. This is good if I like really, I could like put like 4 in my deck and then make sure that I either have like all my cards are like human. Boom, I can always play this card. But for like this budget deck with all the random cards, no, it's not working for this human deck or for this budget deck. Now this card, this is really like a weak card normally. A 1/1 flying for 3 is very expensive, but it says draw a card, which means basically it's I mean, it's expensive when it comes to mana, but it's cheap when it comes to card, because I get a 1/1 flying and I get a card back. So I mean, I just put it in because I thought, why not? Let's try. I'm gonna try it out, because the card I draw is going to be either like more creatures or more effects. So probably more creatures with more effects on them. So although this doesn't have any effects on it except for it's a 1/1 flying, it doesn't need to be. It's just like for mana, I trade mana for another creature. So if once I have lots of mana available to me, this card could be you know, a great way to get another creature into play without using a full card for it. Spinning wheel at 1 mana of any color, tap target creature. So this again, because I'm gonna attack with lots of creatures, I want some combat strategy tactics. Having the ability to tap their strongest creature, and so it cannot block my creatures, makes me one of my creatures survive the attack. One more creature may survive the attack, so I'm preventing the death of one of my creatures, which will keep my army strong. And then add 1 mana of any color. Again, it will help me like play those difficult cards that I put in, like Tajik or Fairburn Elder or Pledge of Unity, cards that I might not have, because my main thing is going to be white magic. And like I said, like if I play this on turn 3, I'm gonna have an extra mana on turn. I have 5 mana on turn 4, etc. Like this, like I said, where I have 7 mana on turn 5 or something, if I play 2 of those. But yeah, I don't have 1, so Civic Stalwart. Civic Stalwart enters the battlefield. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Yeah, this is exactly the kind of card I want. It's another creature. I mean, it's normally I wouldn't like this kind of card. It's only 3/3 for 4 mana, but It will be pumped. It's on its own later on. Somebody will help that card become even bigger, and something will do that. And it now, when it comes into play, all my creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. So my 4/4s become 5/5s, and it might just be the difference between me being able to attack or not that turn, or one or two of my creatures surviving an attack that turn. So this is also a great card in this. For this deck, it's a good card. Although you have to play it for 4, so it's not. I mean, my deck, because it's budget, is not going to be like a very speedy deck. It's going to be more like a mid-rangey deck. Yes. Now look at this one. It says, this is a good example. So this is an instant. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. Now, the great thing about this is it's an instant, and you can play it after blockers. So I mean, the Civic Stalwart is better because it gives me now a creature +3/+3, but it doesn't. So in that way, it's a lot better because I need those creatures on the table, right? Because that's part of my. I need that. If I don't have that, my whole game doesn't work. But this one, for the same kind of mana, it gives me one extra, like a +2/+1, like almost double the effect. And I can do it after blocking. What that means is, like, I attack with 4, they block with 3. One of my creatures is gonna die. 2 of their creatures is gonna survive. Let's you know. Now I play this. Now all of a sudden, it tables a turn. That creature is gonna die. Has like 1 more toughness. It might survive. And my other creature do 2 more damage. So now one of their creatures. The 2 creatures were gonna survive, suddenly gonna die. So actually he might like get rid of 2 creatures. I keep one creature of mine, plus the creatures that are not blocked, they're doing 2 more damage. So you can see this is a great combat trick. But the Civic Stalwart can almost do the same thing before combat. Now that means maybe that my opponent will not block, will block differently, because he can see the +1/+ counters on my creatures. So it will not prevent my creatures from dying, or and he has more choice into how to protect his creatures, like how he puts his blockers. But because of the +1/+1, he will be forced to block things that he doesn't want to block, and he can still lose his creatures. So it might not in the end make any difference. But it's a great combat trick. The only thing I don't like the fact is that it's not permanent, and it doesn't put any creatures into play. And Civic Stalwart is also not permanent, but it puts a creature into play. So, but on the other hand, like I said, like my main thing is put creatures into play, and my second main thing is make use of that. And that making use of that is exactly what this card is doing. So, and because like I said, you can do it after blockers, and it can like kill their block creatures and protect my creatures. I think that's the reason to put it in, because it will not put creatures into play, but it can remove their creatures and protect and like keep creatures keep them in play. So mainly that, because it can keep creatures in play with the +1 toughness. This is like the main reason for me to use this. Yeah, this is a good reason to, because it will keep permanence into play. Inspiring Captain. When Inspiring Captain enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. This is exactly the same as Civic Stalwart, so the same story. It can give me +1/+1 before battle, make everyone like from 4/4 to 5/5 or something, and attack that turn. Next turn it will be gone, but it's good for that turn, and I have another creature next turn to play with. Silver Flame Ritual, +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. If at least 3 white mana was spent to cast this spell, which probably will, creature control gain vigilancy until end of turn. So again, like if I'm attacking with I have my 4/4s, I have like 3 4/4s into game in my hand, or like even like worse, let's say I have like a bunch of 2/2s, yeah, I have like 4 2/2s. And my opponent probably, it's not even viable for me to attack, because I will be tapped, my creature, he can attack me then, and I get lots of damage maybe. If I attack, I will lose some creatures. Now I'd play this before the attack. Now they're all 3/3s. so it's gonna make a fairer fight. I might even have like more, like I might also have like inspired charge on hand, you know, which I could combine later with that. But let's say I have 3/3, so I decide to attack. None of them tap, so I can still use them for defense. So yeah, it makes it viable to attack even when it's like normally. So it saves, protects my life, and even can be good because you might have a creature that says, oh, if you attack you gain a card or something, you know, something like that. So it's always important to have like defense. Don't just let them attack you. And then yeah, this is the kind of, but it's like it's only for that one turn. It's not permanent. So I mean, it actually does the same thing as the Civic Stalwart. So and it costs the same. So and it's the same speed. Like I have to play it in main 1. I have to play the Civic Stalwart aim 1. So it's like basically a Civic Stalwart with the bonus of having Vigilancy and without putting a 3/3 creature into play. So I think this actually, having the Civic Stalwarts available, and even like what's it called, the Inspired Charge, which is always Inspired Charge does twice as much damage, and it says instant speed, which is a combat trick. So basically Silverflame Ritual, and I mean it is a common card, it's too budget for this deck. I don't need it. I already have so many cards. It's not as good as all the other cards, although it was working. It is a good card to have if I would have needed that, but I just don't need it. I have better cards, you know. I have like it would be better for me to add like 3 more Civic Stalwarts than having those cards, or like even Inspired Captains. I mean, I could like have a bunch of these cards, but I mean they're a bit expensive. So they're more like mid game cards. Again, more creatures, love it. It's a bit expensive, but this create dying, the creature dying. Now if I'm gonna have lots of creatures, so they will die at some point. Triggered ability of permanent you control triggers. That ability triggers an additional time. So let's say I have Syndicate Messenger. Syndicate Messenger dies. Afterlife 1. I get like a 1/1 flying. Now I get 2 1/1 lives flying. So this card, that's why I put in, is really good at this deck because I have lots of creatures that have these kind of like afterlife thingies going on it. So yeah, and creature tokens you control have Vigilancy and Lifelink. So yeah, this is really for the afterlife creatures. Vigilancy and Lifelink for all creature tokens, which I will have lots of tokens in this deck. So definitely, like I had only one of those. I put it in there. Why not? Let's see if Aurelia has anything. Mentor again. I think I already talked about this one. No, I haven't. So it mentors. So you can choose up to 1 target creature at the beginning of combat. Now you can choose Aurelia, or you can choose someone who needs it better. Oh, I probably need to quit. I'm getting a dry throat. Probably get ended soon. So it gains trample. It gains Vigilancy if it's red. Now again, it's just another creature, but it has a creature that can boost another creature. It can maybe boost a creature that's really weak. It can boost another creature. Let's have a 10/10. I give him +2/+0. I think I talked about this one. So then it gets trample. So now suddenly I can attack with that creature and have trample damage. So it could be a good combat pre-combat trick. Pre-combat trick. It's just a pre-combat tactic. Yeah, I don't know what to call it. It's just a tactic, whatever. Yeah, it's a trick. It's just a pre-combat trick. It's not a combat trick. When Conclave dies, more creatures. Love this. This is what is great in the deck. Create 2/1/1. Create 2 1/1 white. This is great. It's gonna give. This card will give me 3 creatures, and creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. This is so good. This is like I need like 4 of this. Oh man, and it's only like an uncommon. Would be great. This is great in this deck. This is so good in this deck. Alright, this is really good. Wow. I mean, except for that, it's like 4 mana to get 2/1/1 humans, but still. And 4 mana to get a 2/2. I mean, it's 8 mana to do this. So it's like really slow. But man, it's so good. Bond of Discipline. Tap all creatures your opponents control. Creatures you control gain lifelink at the end of turn. Again, this is like making use, although it's a sorcery, it's not putting any creatures into play. It's gonna keep my all the creatures I attack with safe, because there will be no blockers, so none of my creatures will die. So I'm not gonna lose, like, the power of my army is about keeping my creatures alive. The more creatures I have, the more I can like make use of making them big, and other tricks like gaining life. So, and again, it also has that on board, so it gives like creature control gain lifelink. So I again like 4 creatures, they're 3/3. Now boom, they attack. There's no blockers because everything is tapped. It's like 4 times 3, you know, it's like 12 lifelink. 12 lifelink, 12 I get from lifelink, and like I more than double my life total in that one swoop. Okay, I have 3 of them. I don't know if I need 3 of them, but it is pretty good. Confront the Assault. I don't know if I need 3 of them. One less. Confront the Assault. Actually, don't I have creature? It would be better if I have a creature that does something like this. Didn't I have like a creature that does something like this? I don't know. Or maybe like an top-tier arc creature, yeah. I mean, maybe we should just play 1. It's 6 mana. You know, it's a good card to have at some point in late game. It's a great card. Like during turn 6, it's great to have in your hand, but you don't want to have 2 in your hand, you know. So if you have 3 in your deck, I mean, the chance of you having like 2 or 3 in your hand, and that would be terrible because you need those creatures in your hand. You don't want non-creature spells in your hand. So I might even want to totally get rid of this card for that reason, because there's no possibility to put a creature into play with this card, and with all the other stuff I have, at least they are a creature or they put creatures into play. Like this is also sorcery, but the sorcery is a creature on its own, and also the sorcery creates creatures. But I mean, also have things where there are creatures and they do non-creature things, but they just help out. But yeah, it might be good enough to like turn the game around for you, might end the game even. Like you might just like if you do 12 damage one turn. Cast this now more creatures, 3/1/1 creatures. All the creatures get +2/+1 until end of turn. Now it's cycling, so you pay the cycling cost to discard this card and draw a card. So if I don't need it, I can get, like, if I need more creatures and already have too much of this stuff in my hand, or for some reason I don't have 6 mana lying around to play this card, I could just decide to get another card for 2 mana. On the other hand, it could be like I could be the end game in the end game, and I could be like, wow, this is great. This is exactly what I needed. 6 mana +2/+1 to all my creatures. So I think because of the cycling, I can play it, because I mean I can also trade it for something better. You know, it's good in some. It's like basically it's only good at near the end game. It's like a finisher. But I can still use it in early game if I just trade for a better card. Knights of Sorrow again. Afterlife, more creatures. Create a 2/2 creature. It is a creature on its own. These are expensive cards, but like they're giving me multiple creatures. This is a 3/3 and a 2/2, but it costs like 9 mana to cast both of them. This one I wish I had more of. This is actually a great card. You can tap creatures and they all get +1/+1. So, but yeah, I have other spells also give +1/+1 counters to all my creatures, and actually they give it to each creature, and this is only to the one. I can only give it to 4 creatures with this Loxodon. But this is really effective. Like it's more speedy. and maybe playing a card for 6 mana. I mean, this is really like, actually it makes the 4/4 creature cheaper, but it doesn't. Yeah, so it's a really good card. I'll give you a. This again is like 2 creatures for the price of 1. And also it says like whenever a wolf enters the battlefield under your control, and it will because we have Voya. Under your control you gain 3 life, which is nice. Then which also triggers maybe my life gain. Whenever I gain life I get blah 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 or something. And that creature fights up to 1 target creature you control you don't control. So if he has like a 2/2, I can just or like yeah, let's say if it has a 2/3, yeah, I can fight it with Voya and get rid of it. Or even like maybe he has a 6/3 and I just want to get rid of it. So, but yeah, I probably want to keep my creatures, so I want 2 creatures rather. But it's a good thing I can choose to do it. Oh, I have to do it. I have to fight 1 creature, but I can choose to play this card. So if I choose to play this card, I probably want that to happen. Well, unless maybe I don't have any other cards to play, but still. It might be where it's a bad card because I have to play it, and all the creature it will fight will just kill it straight out. That could happen. But maybe I have a combat trick again to make it bigger. I don't know. Maybe there's some things I have to do, like all creatures get +2/+1. Inspiring Commander. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield and you control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. 6 mana is very expensive for a 1/4 creature, but again, it's a 1/4 creature, and I will love creatures in this deck. So, and the thing is that in this, like, it's better to play a creature that is either expensive or weak than to play like an instant or sorcery that doesn't do anything permanent. So, if you play an instant sorcery that says, oh, everything gets +2/+1, that's only for that 1 turn. Now, if I don't win that turn, next turn I don't have that effect is not doing much more than just that 1 turn. This creature, however, if I play this, I can draw cards for every creature. So, and you imagine I have cards that either every card I have, every creature card either is a creature card with an ability that helps other creatures, or it's something that will. It's like a lot of cards are either like they have afterlife, where when I put them into play I get a card, then they die, I get maybe 1 or 2 other creatures, I get 2 more cards. So not only this card can give me back the cards I'm playing from creatures I'm playing, which I have mostly, it also gives me bonus cards on top of them, because they have multiple, I cast multiple creatures with 1 card. So this card is actually huge in this deck, where it comes to like keeping my hand, fulfilling my hand, like, and I'm playing even more creatures and doing even more effects on them. So again, I wish I had like more. Actually, it's 6 mana, so I guess that 2 of them is like good enough. But yeah, this is a great card in this deck, and most of my creatures are like power 2 or less. Gaining life, drawing cards. This is a great card. Light Legion. How many more do I have? I think maybe we're getting tired here, right? But yeah, I'll go through it really quick. Put +1 on each white creature gonna get a counter. So this is much better than just giving like +2/+1 for once. This is permanent. I have 4 of them. Wow, amazing. Life Chanter. Your life total may become the toughness of creatures you control. Now, sorry for like my mouse. So this could be huge, because I might have like 100 life total. I don't know. Like if I have like 10s, that's like 100. Although I don't know if this is really great. I have to try it out. It might not be that great, because I already have life gain, so I might already be at 50, and then the total is like 46. Then it's worse than like what I already have. So, but let's say I have 5/5s. Yeah, that's like 25. I don't know. It's not, unless I've been hit really hard. Actually, like, yeah, if I've been hit really hard, it could bring me back. Camaraderie. This is again gain X life, draw X cards, and then X is the number of creatures you control. So this could be creature you control at +1/+1 to end of turn. So Again, it boosts my creatures, which I like, but it also do a more permanent thing because I can get X cards. So if I have 4 creatures, I get 4 cards. So although it may be like a sorcery, where I don't like sorceries because they're only one-time thing, I can I get cards back which can be so I get permanence back for like gaining this, and life is permanent, and the +1/+1 is exactly what I want in this deck. So camaraderie, great card. A world class, so it gets like +1/+1 for all the creatures I have. Well, again, I'm putting a card in my I'm putting which I convoke. So I might have lots of 1/1s lying around that I don't want to attack with because they're just too weak still. Then I can tap them and I get maybe a 5/5 Colossus or 10/10 Colossus, and it will be another creature added to my collection. And I just played for like 1 green and 1 white, which is really cheap. So having like 10/10 for that kind of mana, it makes it huge. It really makes use of the fact that I have lots of creatures. March of the Multitudes, again, I can tap everything that I want to tap. I can maybe tap 10 creatures and I get 10 1/1 white creatures. Like, it's a mythic, I only have 1. It's really good. And I can even play it for like cheap. I can play it for 5 mana if it's convoke. Actually, it doesn't. I don't need the X. I don't need to pay the X. It's convoke. So this will always be. It's only like a 3 mana spell really, because I convoke the rest. Idyllic, and I can even pump more mana that I have lying around. Put that in there. So if I have like 7 mana, I get 4 creatures plus all the creatures I convoke. So I can get even maybe if I have 4 creatures to convoke and 4 mana to put in there, then I have like 8 like 1/1 tokens, which is great. Okay, it's nothing special. It just gives you a thing +1/+1. Now these are all the mana I've been putting in, trying to get like they're all white basically. White plus blue, white plus black, white plus red, white plus green. Because I have like, why would I use planes if I have like these cards that I need to play at one point. I mean, I only have 1 blue card, but still, I mean, it will make my deck a lot slower not having all these comes into play tapped cards. It definitely makes me a bit slower, but yeah, at least I have hopefully with the life gain and with lots of like blockers, I will be able to keep this sustained. Now I have 134 cards, so I need to get rid of like more than half of them. So yeah, I'm gonna do it at some point. Now I could just simply like where I have like 3 angels, I can say, well, I can go to 2. Like if I have 2 Faber, I can go to 1. This could be easy way to just like here, this is an instant. Maybe I want 1 less, you know, because it's just an instant, and it's just nice to have that combat tactic at some point. But I don't want 3 in my hands. Civic Stalwarts I can always play. Chaplains I can always play. The Messenger, these are things I can always do. So maybe get rid of some of the things that I cannot do all the time. I mean, also the expensive ones. Now this is 6. This is an expensive one. Like this is an expensive one that I'm actually not sure that is good. This is only good when I'm like losing, which is actually a good reason. If something is only good when you're losing, then maybe you want that because you don't want to lose, right? There's some things that are only good when you're winning, and then you're like, you're already winning, so why would you need that? If you're already winning, you don't need that. Say, oh, this is good when I'm winning, but you're winning. Like, why would you need something that's good? You want something that's gonna save you when you're losing, right? So having said that, a card that's good when I'm losing is definitely even for 6 mana, I might turn the game around, because I might be at 5 life, and I put this card in the game, boom, I'm back to 25, I'm back to 30, I'm back to 40, 50, 60, you know. So this could be a life changer. Life changer. So looks on life changer could be a life changer. So I think for 6 is good because you don't want to play this when you have only one creature in on board. This this can turn the game around, and also it can pump itself, can become a huge monster, which is a nice bonus. So I think this is really like this is the kind of card you want for 6 mana. You want a card that either can win you the game, and this can win, like let's say I give this guy trample or something, or flying, or some kind of evasion, or like I just tap all my if this guy hits, and like let's say my life is 50, yeah, it gets plus 50 plus 50, you know, so I'm attacking with, if I can do 50 damage, like if it's trample, like 50 trample damage. This guy is really good in this deck because it makes use of the fact that I have all these creatures and have all this life gain. So either way, this is a good card. I was ready to like throw it away, but then as I think about it, a card that is good when you're losing is exactly what is a good. That's the definition of a good card. A card that's good when you're winning is the definition of a card that's a bad card. Well, a necessary card. It might still be a good card. It's just unnecessary. You know, who needs something that is only good when you're winning? Except if you want to like winning really big, but that's what you want in real life. I think, like you know, that's nice in real life where you just want to have opulence, but when you're fighting for like survival, you want something that will keep you afloat. Actually, a good thing, like maybe off topic, but if you have listened to this video so far, I might just add this. I'm gonna end soon, so it's like personal. If you don't like it, just you know, this is the end of the video for you. But you know, well, it's very personal. Like I lost my mom in December, and because of that, I have to leave my my home that I've been taking care of her for the last 20 years, and that's very sad. And I've been very upset that this government rule exists where they throw people out of their houses after losing their family that they've been taken care of. It seems such like a stupid rule, and I'm just so upset that this, you know, it's happened before where I was doing great in school. I was the best in school. I had the best grade. I was the best in the whole school. I like my lowest grade was like an 8. You know, 8, 9s, and 10s. That was all I was getting for every test I was doing, and I had like 14 different like classes that I was following, you know. And and I had to stop because and the director of the school, he asked, even like when I visited there, he talked to me, he said, well, and we were standing in the hallway and had one of my designs there. It's like a fashion school, so I had this fashion design there, and he pointed to like, wow, you have such great artwork. Why are you not attending school? You have such great grades. And I'm like, well, look, I can't no longer, like my the money from the government is not coming in anymore. And what they did, I had like money to live, to rent a room and everything, but they halved it because they didn't know my biological father. And because of that, and I was like 18 or something, I didn't know what to do with that. I just was living on my own. I tried to go to some things, trying to get it, you know, I was sending letters, but nothing helped. So basically, you know, I was like, I had to live of like, I had less money than I needed for rent, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just couldn't, yeah. So, and that was pity because that would have, like, that school went really well, and that's another thing that so those two things, I'm like, what's this? I mean, I'm living in one of the best countries in the world, but sometimes you just mess up, and they have all these, sometimes the rules are not to help you, you know, like I had this, I was getting money to go to school, and then they closed it for some oh, I didn't know my biological father, so if you don't provide that information, we're not going to give you any money. And I'm like, what's going on here? If I don't know my biological father, how can I provide you with information who my father is? You know, it's so stupid. And then, I mean, and now this, where I just like, I had the worst thing in my whole life. Losing my mother happened to me, and all I wanted is some time for myself to like deal with my emotions and get like on top of it again. and then they want me to like look for a new home, leave the home that I have all these memories of my mother with, you know, that now like in 1 week that's gone. I never have access to that home anymore. Like those memories, they can still be there, but like just walking around the house, I can think, oh wait a minute, my mother was sitting there. My mother was like, you know, and I wish I could have keep that, but I can't. So anyway, I'm kind of tired of this whole like this rent situation. And I mean I went to the courts with them, and they were, it's like they had no regards to like my emotions, what I was going through. Like they didn't even realize, they were like completely blinded to it. They were, oh, we're following the rules, we're doing, you know, just like how do you think, like, oh, this is are the rules. Well, because they're the rules, then they might not be good rules, you know. It's not good to think that. And like even what they tried to give me a letter that I had to go in March, which is like even like after 3 months, and I had to go to again to seek legal advice to find out that they couldn't do that. I had 6 months. So even tried to get me out of my home and out of this home where I lived with my mother for 20 years in 3 months instead of 6 months. For what reason? They're gonna put other people in here? Like, well, you know, why send me this letter? It's not even the legal limit. You know, they were not like they're like even like were shortcutting me on that. And I guess maybe that's the thing I can hold against them. The corporation that was doing that, they didn't need to do that. They did that they made it on their own decision. Either they made a mistake or they just wanted to like hasten the whole thing. I don't know why they did it, but that's what they did to me. And then the government made this rule where I cannot stay here because it's a social thing or whatever. It's like this home is supposedly for like you have to like be you have to enter in and wait for, it's like a lottery thing where you just to wait and try and get an apartment. And the thing is, I've always been living here for 20 years, you know, and like at the moment with the corona, I'm living off like I was not able to work for a long time. I had to live off the money I had and some money I got from the government. So this is actually, I was at the right price range to live here. So and then I had to deal with my mom's death. So like it was way too much for me, like really heavy dealing with all these problems. And corona came in, and I then all my money fell away. So really hard times, and I had a lot of worries, like losing my home, not knowing where the money was coming from in. So now I was looking for a room, and I could get a room. Actually, I arranged for a room, and I got it. They offered it to me. I could just send in my information, but the room was like 500 and about 560, 515, 8 or something, you know, or like 570, yeah, and it was like for 580 even. I don't know. It was around that range. So I'm paying like nearly 600, you know, to live in a room that's like 4 by 5 or 5 by 5 or like I don't know, somewhere in that range. While normally I would, for that money you can live like my mother. Like this apartment is like 5 times bigger, and she was even getting subsidized, you know, to live here. So imagine that. So it's kind of crazy that I now have to live in like a really small room and fork up like almost 600 euros just to be there. So I decided, like, already was like I've been looking at other options. Like I saw like lots of like YouTube videos of people living in a van. And yeah, I almost like in December I was gonna get my driver's license, but yeah, then my mom died, and I was like, well, let's wait until I get my everything together. And then of course the corona happened, so there was no money. So I'm still like almost got my driver's license, but so like the whole van life I can do. Like I already have a car that I could do it with. I have like yeah, it's like a work van which I could like convert to live in, but I cannot, like, I don't have, without a driver's license I cannot put it on the road, sadly. So I probably will look for, so now I'm looking for like a little like sailing boat. I really love sailing boats. I really like, they have the aesthetic of it. but even it might not even be a sailing boat, maybe, and just any like kind of boat that's like big enough to like at least like I mean, the thing is that if I get a boat, the boat I will pay for it one time, it will be my property, so there's no rent. Like if you pay rent, like here, as soon as they say, well, the rules say you cannot stay here or you're unable to pay the rent, like I don't know what Corona is going to do. Like let's say Corona comes back again, and like now maybe I will get, I've heard from like the people I've been working with that the economy is picking up, so maybe like in September maybe I can start full time again, like as a painter, but that's not sure. Like actually it might happen where this whole idea just breaks down. Maybe when it gets colder, the Corona comes up again and get stricter rules, maybe like nobody can work anymore again like it was in March, and then where am I gonna get my money from? Are they gonna again send me because are they gonna still give me some money for that, or are they not even gonna do that this time? What's gonna happen? Do I get like a full-time job, or is it gonna be part-time? Is it like I have to think about all these things. So like living on a boat might be a lot less what you say easy than like living in a room where you have electricity and you have some space and you can do all your things like I'm used to. But I can do most of those things in that boat anyway. I mean, I can like put like I can live off grid, solar panels. I can put a bunch of solar panels on the boat. I can have as much power as I want, So and if I have electric power, I can have a fridge. I can cook electric, or I can cook with gas. I can have all the amenities that I want that you wouldn't have in a normal home. And the good thing is that with the money I have saved up now, I could buy a really decent boat to start with, and then every month instead of like if I would take that like apartment first, like let's say 600 or 580 or something, the end of the year it would be like 7,000 euros, and I might say, well, maybe I can get a cheaper apartment. Well, that's pretty much important. That's going to be very, it's not going to be easy, and they just get smaller and smaller. So if I want to get an apartment for like something for 300, I mean, I'm going to live in a box from 2x3, So now I can do that, but the thing is, like that money, like if I spend that money, if I spend like 7,000 this year living there, why not buy a boat for 7,000 euros? Why would I spend it on like after the year? The next year I still need to pay again for the next month. I will have to pay for the rest of my life rent. Well, if I buy a boat now for 7,000, I can live in that boat for a whole year, and then every month after that I'm just like, well, actually as soon as I buy it, like every month I'm saving money, so I'm not paying that rent. So every month I can put that 700 euros or 600 euros, put it in the bank, save it up, and buy a bigger boat, maybe eventually even like a tiny home, or maybe I do want to go into a van life, or but it's all property, so whatever I do, I can resell it. Maybe so the value of my property, like maybe I start like at 4,000. Next boat is going to be like 10,000. The boat after that's going to be like 20,000. Maybe I'll buy a van of 30,000, then I sell the van for 30,000. Like of course there's going to be usage, like especially I think a van. Maybe I will stick with boats. I don't know, because of boats I can buy a boat that needs some paint job, because I'm a painter. I can paint it up, like put it on the docks, paint. Like I can even live in the cheaper boat, buy a big, like I save up money with first now I buy a cheap boat, right, like 3,000 euros. Then I save up the money I have already to buy like a boat that, let's say I buy a boat that in good condition. If it would have been in good condition, painted and well taken after, could be like 10,000 euros. But now I can buy that boat for 5,000 because it's not in that great condition, but it doesn't matter. I could put it on dry dock. I could just like take off all the old paint, put new paint on, and I'm turning that, and I'm going interior. Like I've my friend's dad, he's really good at like woodworking and stuff, and I can even do woodworking if I want to, but if he can help, he has all the tools and stuff, so we can just I know he loves like doing stuff like that, and maybe I will give him so we can work on like the interior and just change this boat that's maybe worth 5,000 euros, turn it to a 10,000 boat, and then I still have my like 3,000 boat which I'm living on, sleeping on, and what I'm not paying rent for, saving all the money. I can put all the money I'm saving, that 600 euros a month, and I'll probably be making more money, so maybe I put like 1,000, 1,500 in that boat and just fix it up, and then that 5,000 like basic boat that needed fixing up is like 10,000, 15,000 euros by the end of it. Then I can stay in it for a while if I want and enjoy my beautiful home, and maybe even put it to water, and then go and then spend some time in it, and I put it up for sale. I mean, I could do that straight away actually. As soon as it's finished, I put it up for sale and then wait for like whoever wants to give the most money for it. Spend some time in that boat enjoying it, or I could wait and just enjoy it for like 6 months or a year, live in this nice boat. Meanwhile, I can like save up money. I can sell the old boat for 3,000, save up more money, buy another boat. Maybe this time it's not going to be a 5,000 boat, it's going to be like a 10,000 boat. With a 10,000 boat I could even fix up to say maybe a 30 or 50,000 boat. So now I'm living luxuriously in my like what I say, like 15,000 euro boat already, which I fixed up, which is a nice boat. Meanwhile, I'm working on my next boat that's going to be like worth 50,000. Then when that's finished, I can do the same thing. I can start living luxuriously in my 50,000 boat, sell the 15,000 boat, so I can use that money again to buy a new boat, save up more money. Maybe this time I buy 20,000 euro boat. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then maybe I can do it with houses. I can buy a house for 100,000 euros at some point, or like 150. Probably like I can get some mortgage or something. Maybe I can buy a house that's normally worth maybe 200,000, 3,000. I can buy it. Maybe it needs a lot of like fixing, and of course, because I'm in construction now, I know a lot of people that can help me like fix up that house, and I can do the paint job myself. So, and maybe I can even do some of the construction work myself. But then I fix up this house that I buy for maybe like 120,000, and then sell it for 200,000. And I can live in it for a while and put it on the market and wait until it's like somebody wants to buy it for the price that I like. I don't even need to get out of if I have a house that's 200,000 that I fixed up, I can stay in there for like a year, 2 years, doesn't really matter. Like I can just wait for like somebody who really wants it and wants to pay me like 250 for it, 250,000, and then I can like sell it for a really good price, and then again I can keep doing that, and I can sail around around the world in my boats. I can go to like France, Africa, whatever. I can have also all these things that I can do if I do this. So, but if I don't, if I can, if I start, I could just rent rooms. The rooms for me, not because they're like they're from the marketplace, the open marketplace. Those rooms are so expensive that they're not subsidized. I don't get any subsidy to do that, and it's so expensive renting like that. And I don't have availability for mortgage. So the only way to really get into like home ownership is just start buying something that is a home. It might not be like a very luxurious home, but at least it gets me somewhere in that direction, instead of just throwing money at rent that I will never get back. I'm just paying off somebody else's mortgage. I'm giving money to corporations. Don't have to give anything They don't care about me really, you know. They don't have no consideration whatsoever towards me. Don't even say sorry or whatever. You know, they just treat me like garbage. So why would I give money to some people like that? And they can have fancy names like ons doel. Ons doel means our purpose, or or charity or something, like our the thing that we want to achieve. But it's like, who is ours then? Because I'm not. But basically, I'm not part of ours, because you're not thinking of me. You're not thinking about what I would need in my life. My life would have been a lot easier if you gave me like if I could leave here whenever I wanted. I'm not saying like 10 years, but maybe a year. 6 months was barely enough to even get my act together. Now I feel strong enough to make the right decisions, and maybe the boat is a mistake. Maybe it will be like it gets really cold in the winter. It will be discomfort. Maybe it will like it will get maybe maybe it's not practical. But the thing is, like, because that's why I'm just buying. I'm starting with a cheaper boat, like 3,000. So I still have some money left to, even like if I really need to, I have money saved up for emergencies where I need to, like if it's like too cold there and I'm freezing or something, or I feel horrible there, then I still have money. I can still get a room if I want to. So it's not actually. There is no side. There's no downside to doing this, because there isn't. Like, I'm just buying a property that I can resell at some point for like pretty much the same price. Because I'm not gonna buy like something that's like, I'm looking at something now that's actually quite good. I could probably I can fix it up a little bit, but it doesn't need like huge amounts of fixing. It has like a brand new, like pretty new engine, so it has like good value either way. And if people try to undercut me and offer me really low ball prices, I just don't take them, because why would I? I can just keep the boat. Maybe maybe during winter times people don't want to buy boats, so I just wait until summer, and then summer the prices go up, everybody wants a boat. I make sure my boats look really good. I could resell it, maybe even make profit off it, who knows. So I think that there's really no drawbacks to this experiment. It is kind of an experiment, but there's like a lot of potential. Like I said, I can just like live in a boat, save money, use it to buy bigger boats, fix them up. Like, I'm saving rent money. I have time to fix the boat, because I'm not forced to do jobs that I don't like. I can just focus on work that I like. I do the work that I like. I make money with that. The free time I have, like in the weekends, whatever, when I come back home from work, I just like go to my boat and just start fixing up my new boat that that I'm working on. And then eventually I can put all the free time that I want into that boat, as much as I want, and that free time will turn into like financial gain later on. So it's just something. It's like with the card game, where if you have like mana lying around, like that's my free time. I'm sorry, I'm bringing it back to the stupid game, but like if you have time that you cannot use, like what are you gonna do when you go home? You sit behind the TV. Like every time I sit behind the TV and watch like some soap, I mean, sure, it's enjoyment, but I've been doing that a lot in my life. I've watched lots of TV and stuff. It's a lot of fun, but you spend your whole nights watching all those movies, series, and playing games and whatever, and you end up, what do you get for that? What do you get for? I mean, you get enjoyment, like, but you could also like put it in like something that actually makes you money. And fixing up a boat, like, I mean, I'm not gonna fix up this, but first I'm gonna buy a livable boat, and then I'm gonna buy like a fixer up that I can put my time in to fix up. and that will be like a more livable boat, you know, like a bit bigger. Mainly I just want to look for bigger, because like the first one I'm gonna go like around 3,000 probably. That will be like more like a boat that I can just sleep in and do. It's like basic. It's just gonna be. It just has to be really nice. That's the main thing. And already so I see something. It's really. I showed to my friends like, wow, are you really can you can get a boat for that price, and it's not. You don't compare to a house. You know, like imagine trying to get a house for 3,000. You know, that's not possible. You can if you that's like a house. You can even get it. You know, like a really really tiny small house somewhere in some place there, like away from like the center of like Holland. Maybe you can buy a house for 50,000 maybe, you know, but probably not. It's going to be impossible to find a house like that. Like it's going to be hard to find a house under 100,000, you know. So buying something you can live in starting at a price of 3,000, like I can have like for 100,000 I can have a very luxurious boat, very luxurious. I can have a boat that I can have a sailboat that I can use that even seaworthy, that I can I can go to America, I can go to Australia, you know. I can sail the world and maybe visit like all the like there's a lot of like my church is like we have church in Australia. Maybe I want to just go from one. We have like 600 churches, and we have one in Bali, so I can just go like, I just visit, make a tour of them or something, you know. Yeah, I know it's crazy, but it's like, if you don't like, you can just have dreams, but why not work towards them? You know, I don't know if I can ever like achieve that, and maybe if I can do it, even if I had that boat, is that still something? Probably still something I want to do. Like I really like that idea, and then working like I have like I can just work from my laptop. Like I'm doing e-commerce right now, so like in 2-3 years time, I expect to make at least some decent income from just my e-commerce businesses, and because they're all web-based and internationally, it doesn't really matter where I am. I can be in the middle of the sea if I have like a connection, you know, at least at some point. Then I can check my affairs. I can make some arrangements, and I can keep the whole thing rolling, and and I can make decent money just traveling around the world, you know, on a boat if I want to. Now that sounds kind of cool, right? So if I have to like live in a boat that's 3,000 euros now, and start doing that, and like fix up like boats, and work as a painter, and work on my e-commerce, and those are all things that I actually do like. I mean, you have to do. I mean, you're not going to be successful. Like I could try and become an accountant, and there's nothing wrong with being an accountant, but I'm not. That's not. I mean, like it doesn't. It's not like I'm a programmer. So programming is also lots of numbers, but it's for me like programming is creation of apps. You know, I'm making a website. Websites look nice. They look fancy. You know, so when I look at it, I feel like the artist in me is like, oh look, I made something beautiful. You know, I made something that that people people can interact with, and I can make a good user experience, and I can add value to their lives with whatever I do. Even so, I'm doing a great service to people, but I'm using both my skills in like programming, like my my logic, and I'm using my creativity. So I'm using things that I enjoy. I do things that I enjoy doing. That's the main thing. And even with the painting, I'm using my creativity, painting of boats, painting houses. I can just, I love doing that too. I can do that all day long. So those are things. If I can do something all day long, and I can get money for doing it all day long, then that's like a good income stream, right? And the e-commerce business, like I have this business. There's this person inside me that wants to come out and was like, "Whoa, we gotta make some money, man!" And you know, and I mean, and for me, like money is the ability to help people. You know, if I can, and so I can provide. I can help other people. Like if I see a vagrant in the street, I don't. If I have a €1, I don't mind giving them a €1. Most people, they just don't like. They're like, you go away. Why should I give money to you? Like, why not do that? Now, there's a limit to that. There was a time where I get like €10 to a vagrant, but then I started thinking, well, he's just gonna get like drugs for it. Like, why am I doing that? But like now, giving them €1 and I talk with them, at least I can like tell them like, hey, how you doing? At least gives me a connection point with someone. And so having money, like who knows? Maybe I can buy maybe when I'm doing boats, I could buy like a spare boat for and then rent them out or something, or I can. And give them maybe to a vagrant. So hey, you can. Where are you living? Yeah, I don't have anything. If they're really like, if I see somebody actually, I mean, here in Holland, here in Leiden, they have like limited, and I say, well, here you have this little thing here that you can, I don't know. I mean, if you have money, you can help people. I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but maybe because I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's like if you're in a position, like if you don't like if you're not in a position of power, then how? Like even with my business, like I can do e-commerce things. I can sell like useless things, and I can just like extort money from people, or I could like sell valuable things and make sure that my business partners, that they are well. Like I'm thinking of like getting. Buying clothes from Africa for decent prices, very decent prices. So the local community there in Africa they're getting well paid by me for making like clothing. And going back to my clothing school I was doing, so I've learned a lot about clothing. Now I was best in my class, best in the school probably. So I know a lot about that stuff, so I might as well use that. And so if I'm going to do e-commerce and sell clothing online, I can sell it all over the world. Now if I get those clothes from Africa, I have a friend, Precious Shitta, and I'm asked him like, well, can you look around for some clothing? Can you look around? So in the future, when I have set this all up, like also I'm building like I'm gonna design t-shirts. So that's another thing, like a lot of the business things, they need to take time. So the more time I have, more freedom I have. Like I've had a lot of time and freedom the last couple of months because I was not allowed to work. Of course I could study e-commerce. Now I've studied e-commerce, I've learned all these things that I can do. Like I could, for instance, because I'm an artist, I can design t-shirts already. Just have some designs. Then I can sell those t-shirts and make some money, make an income stream out of that. Now the best way to do it is actually to make a brand out of it. So if I make a brand, then people will recognize that brand and will start buying that brand more and more because they like the brand. So now I'm looking at like those clothes from Africa. Like if I bring them from a place of poverty like Africa and boost the economy there, I'm putting money into local like sewing businesses. Like I can even like maybe we can set it up there like where maybe you can help them even set up small factories where maybe I can put up my own factory there, where I hire an overseer, maybe someone like Precious who can oversee it. Maybe I'll go there myself, and then we rent a little building, put some like sewing machines there, and start sewing their own stuff. I can make the designs and send, because I gotta know what's an international design, what people like. I can make designs that go internationally and then sell them internationally. On like with e-commerce knowledge, I don't even need like physical shops, right? I can just sell them like online. Maybe I can sell it to shops too. So I can build this like a clothing brand, but that's basically based in Africa. So every clothing needs all the workmanship is made from local African workers, which are gonna be paid well. And actually it's gonna be part of the brand, where I will tell people like, look, we're not cheap, but we are paying, like, look at the pictures, look at our factory. These people, look at their children, you know, look at their village, you know, they're not exploited. And then people can choose, like, well, are we gonna buy a little bit higher these nice clothing that are not cheap, or are we gonna buy some brand that we, you know? So that's kind of like yeah, it's like a fair trade thing, you know. It's gonna be like a fair trade brand. And so yeah, and I think that will appeal to a lot of people. And that's like, I can do business in a way, as a bit like, I'm thinking of like one of the most impressive things I've ever seen was like I mean, what Schindler did in, like, you know, he had a factory. You probably see the movie Schindler's List. If you haven't seen, go look it up. It's one of the best movies ever. And but you know, if not, then just like, if you haven't seen the movie, then watch it, because now I'm gonna spoil the whole movie for you. So you might want to skip this part. I'll explain it in 1 minute, so you can skip 1 minute. So Schindler, he had a factory in World War II, and he was using cheap Jewish labor that were actually in concentration camps, and he was making lots of money selling stuff to the German army. But because he was like, he knew what was going on in the concentration camps, and once he found out that these people were actually getting like killed, he tried to keep them at work because he didn't want any of his workers to die. So he was creating jobs for them and trying to get more jobs. But also he was like making garbage stuff. So like, if he would make bullets, the bullets wouldn't work, you know. If he would make like cans for food, the cans wouldn't work well, so the food would get spoiled. So he was like, he was working two ways. He was like, he was going against the war effort, where he was like actually like yeah, making it worse for the Germans, and trying to make them lose the war. Like and then he's like a huge war hero for me. Like, and then but even better, and then it seems even more important. Like, he was all these, like, at the end of the war there was like 600 Jews or something that he saved by giving them jobs, and he was even like bribing German soldiers, trying to get more people in his in his factory, and saving more Jews. And now this is a huge spoiler, so if you haven't watched the movie, definitely skip this part. And the movie ends this way. Everybody celebrates, and I mean, this is gonna make me cry, but and they give him this huge like thank you for saving their lives, and there were like 600 people, Jews, and he turns around and he's really happy in this moment that he accomplished this, and he look at his car, and his car is like a Rolls Royce or something, like a million euro car, you know. And he starts crying. He's like, I could have, instead of having this car, I could have saved so many more lives. And it's true, you know. It's a fact. And I know that he lived with a regret for his whole life, you know. There's opportunity to save lives, and he didn't see it. And he at some point he turned his greed into like saving in something good, but he was still living. He was still enjoying all the good things in life, and he realized, wow, you know, if I would have given even that up, I could have like done more. Now, I'm not saying that you should live like some kind of like beggar and just give everything of value in your life. I mean, you should enjoy life too. But, and you know, I want to have like a boat that's €1 million, but do I need that? You know, if I want a home that's €1 million, but if that home, if that boat, if I have a boat that's €200,000 that I worked hard for, I mean, I don't have to be ashamed that I'm not selling that to save people's lives, because like, I want a family, you know, I want kids. I need you know, it's no use trying to save lives by not having anything, you know. Like if you not, I deserve that. So, and I want to give if I ever have kids and a wife, then I want to give them a good life, you know. But I'm probably not gonna go for like $1 million yacht or something like opulent, you know. I don't need that opulence. Even if I become a millionaire, like why would I show off like how rich I am? And you say, well, sometimes say, oh, I need that to show off, you know. Like if you're not rich, you're not showing it off, then people don't respect you or something. But look at like there's some people that do that. I think there's like I don't know much about him. Like you see, like some like Keanu Reeves, like he's really like he just goes on the metro or something, you know, and he's really decent guy. And you see a lot of people that are, and I'm not even thinking I'll ever be like rich or something. But let's say I'm gonna do a bit better than I've done like the last couple of years. Let's say I'm gonna do good, and I have a good business. I want that business and all the things I'm doing to be focused on something positive, you know. If I can so yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. So if I can like support like African villages with maybe buying clothing there and helping them set up, like the money I can have, if I have some money, like those people are so poor they cannot even afford like a sewing machine. If you can't afford a sewing machine, you cannot buy, you know. And so and they don't know internet, they don't know e-commerce. I've studied e-commerce, I'm a pretty smart guy, like, you know. So there might be really smart kids there, but they're not being taught that. They don't have a computer. Like 1 in 20 people has like an IQ that's like my IQ. So like in every, like I did like actually I did a test where I went to we had a bunch of laptops and computers, and there were this orphan kids, and we had this